We left off in the previous chapter where the priest, namely Aaron and his sons, are told that they must remain inside of the tabernacle for 1 week in order to complete their consecration to be ready to perform their priestly duties. Well, in chapter 9 that we're going to be studying now, we come to the end of that 7-day period. And it came to pass on the 8th day that Moses called Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel, and he said unto Aaron, Take thee a young calf for a sin offering. Pay close attention to this. He's speaking directly to Aaron, the high priest, and he says, Take thee a young calf for a sin offering, and a ram for a burnt offering without blemish, and offer them before the Lord. Now, it's very much assumed that there is great significance in this young calf order, but we'll come to that right here in just a second. Like newly born children, Ellicott notes, who remain 7 days in a state of uncleanness and enter into the covenant privileges of the congregation on the 8th day when they're circumcised, the young males. So the newly created priest, after a purging of 7 days, commenced their sacred duties and partook of their privileges on this symbolical day. Now, once again, this young calf is being mentioned first and foremost, and Cambridge commented, as well as many others, only here is a calf appointed for a sin offering. According to Jewish tradition, it was to remind Aaron of his sin in making the golden calf at Horeb, Mount Sinai. And unto the children of Israel thou shalt speak, saying, Take ye a kid of the goats for a sin offering, and a calf and a lamb, both of the first year without blemish, for a burnt offering. Also a bullock and a ram for peace offerings, to sacrifice before the Lord, and a meat or a grain offering, mingled with oil. For today the Lord will appear unto you. And they brought that which Moses commanded before the tabernacle of the congregation, and all the congregation drew near and stood before the Lord. And Moses said, This is the thing which the Lord commanded that ye should do, and the glory of the Lord shall appear unto you. Now, the previous time that this happened was on top of Mount Sinai, this promise that the Lord would appear unto them. But now would he appear in and above the tabernacle to show them his presence is now in their midst. And Moses said unto Aaron, Go unto the altar, and offer thy sin offering and thy burnt offering, and make an atonement for thyself and for the people. And offer the offering of the people, and make an atonement for them, as the Lord commanded. Aaron therefore went unto the altar, and slew the calf of the sin offering, which was for himself. And the sons of Aaron brought the blood unto him, and he dipped his finger in the blood, and put it upon the horns of the altar, and poured out the blood at the bottom of the altar. We've already went over this several times. The horns of the altar represent power. It's believed in the Old Testament, power, and the bottom representing a foundation being laid, and the position that they were now in was one of power. They were set above the people, therefore the blood would cover them, and their foundation in which they would walk upon from then on out would have to be covered by this blood, and all of it pointing towards the ultimate sacrifice of Christ, showing how the Lord himself was to be the one to direct them from now on. But there's also a very peculiar stance right here. Unlike the ordinary law of the sin offering for the high priest and for the people, the blood of which was taken into the tabernacle, read about that in Leviticus 4, Aaron on this occasion simply put some of it upon the four horns of the brazen altar, as Moses had done in the sin offering of consecration in the previous chapter. For though high priest, he had not yet access to the holy place of the sanctuary till he had qualified himself by this sacrifice in the courtyard. But the fat and the kidneys and the caul above the liver of the sin offering he burnt upon the altar, as the Lord commanded Moses. Once again, the fat being the most important part of the sacrifice, being, we believe, representative of the blessings of God and the energy in which he provides for us, and the kidneys being that of a filtering system, separating the good from the bad. That also is to be offered up. Now, do take note at this point, my friends, how it is stating that Aaron is burning these things. This is believed to be with ordinary fire, but at the end of this, we'll see how the Lord himself will send this special fire unto them, and that's the fire that they are to always keep. It's kind of like a mingling of the fire of men's works and then the Lord himself with his own special fire, and it is that fire in which they are to keep perpetually. And the flesh and the hide he burnt with the fire outside the camp. Now, once again, anytime that it says that an offering was taken outside the camps, it's believed that this is representing that of Christ carrying his cross outside of the walls of Jerusalem and being crucified outside the camp or outside of the city. And he slew the burnt offering, and Aaron's sons presented unto him the blood which he sprinkled round about upon the altar, to which is at the midsection, to which all of this could be pointing towards the horns that of the crown of thorns upon Christ's head, the middle part being that of the side, and the bottom being that of the feet being pierced as well. And so all of that could be representing this. So roundabout may be pointing towards just his body, the side in general. It's very possible. There's symbolism in all of this. And they presented the burnt offering unto him with the pieces thereof and the head, and he burnt them upon the altar. This is once again to show how every part of Christ was in agony during the sacrifice. Every part was used. And he did wash the inwards and the legs, and burnt them upon the burnt offering on the altar. These are washed, the intestines and all, and then the legs were all washed before they were burnt, showing how Christ was pure inside and out, and his walk was also pure. And he brought the people's offering, and took the goat, which was the sin offering for the people, and slew it, and offered it for sin as the first. And he brought the burnt offering, and offered it according to the manner. And he brought the meat offering, and took a handful thereof, and burnt it upon the altar, beside the burnt sacrifice of the morning. He slew also the bullock and the ram for a sacrifice of peace offerings, which was for the people. And Aaron's sons presented unto him the blood, which he sprinkled upon the altar round about. And the fat of the bullock and of the ram, the rump, and that which covereth the inwards, and the kidneys, and the caul above the liver. And they put the fat upon the breast, and he burnt the fat upon the altar. And the breast and the right shoulder Aaron waved for a wave offering before the Lord, as Moses commanded. We've went over these wave offerings. It's to show that, Lord, though this belongs to you, you are giving it back. And Aaron lifted up his hand toward the people, and blessed them, and came down from offering of the sin offering, and the burnt offering, and peace offerings. Joseph Benson commented at this point, and this was an act of his priestly office, this blessing afterwards, no less than sacrificing. And herein he was a type of Christ, who came into the world to bless us, and when he was parting from his disciples, lifted up his hands and blessed them, yea, and in them his whole church. And Moses and Aaron went into the tabernacle of the congregation, now they enter in, and came out and blessed the people. And that's whenever the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the people. This would have been a very frightening sight, really, and very glorious as well. But the Lord knows how to make an appearance, let's say. And there came a fire out from before the Lord, and consumed upon the altar the burnt offering and the fat, which when all the people saw, they shouted and fell on their faces. This is, of course, the immediate response that you're going to have at such a very bizarre and impactful sighting. Now for some closing commentary. Poole noted, and this fire now given was to be carefully kept, and not suffered to go out, and therefore was carried in a particular vessel in their journeying through the wilderness in which they were about to embark upon. Joseph Benson commented, it is said to have lasted, this fire, till the time of Solomon, hundreds of years later, when God sent fire anew from heaven to consume the sacrifices offered at the dedication of Solomon's temple. And that again is said to have been preserved till the destruction of that first temple at the Babylonian captivity.